Awesome. So everyone is seated up. I want you to close your eyes and breathe in very deeply. And then breathe out. Breathe in very deeply. And then breathe out. Yeah, just close your eyes and I want you to feel your body. Just be aware of yourself. Be aware of your space. Be aware of your thoughts. Be aware of everything that is happening around you. Maybe this morning you're a bit worried or concerned about something that is not in place in your life. Maybe you're here and you're just wondering, okay, where is this going? And I just want you to allow yourself to still all your emotions, to just be quiet and to allow yourself to focus. Just allow yourself to totally relax. I want you to allow yourself to feel stillness in your body, in your mind, just quieten everything. That is one of the most powerful abilities we have, to just make everything quiet in our lives and to be still and to not allow anything to control us or steal our moments. Just allow yourself to be in that space. You can just listen to your breathing if it will help. Just listen to how you're breathing. Awesome. The other thing I want us to do is to just think about yourself, and I want you to see yourself in your village or probably where you come from, just a familiar place. Yeah, just see yourself in your village and you can see people you know. You can probably see parents, siblings, colleagues, neighbors, people from church, or just from your networks, women from Chama. Yeah, just imagine that you can see people that are familiar and people that you know. Yeah, sorry if my son is woken up. He's an early riser, so if you can hear him, sorry about that. Just allow yourself to be here. And then I want you to imagine that you're actually attending a funeral and all those people are coming to that funeral. So you can see people probably, the preacher is out there encouraging the people who are bereaved and people are singing somber songs. And yeah, the atmosphere is just that. There are people who are probably standing in a corner, a group of people chatting away, maybe celebrating that life, and speaking their memories, just doing a recap and a TBT on that person and their lives. And I want you to just imagine that you're eavesdropping to all those conversations. Someone is crying hysterically because they've really lost someone they really loved. They don't know how to move forward. And then I want you to imagine that you're in that last part and you are on a procession towards the graveyard. Yeah, and then people are walking down there, singing somber songs, and some people are still crying, others are still looking on curiously. Some of them are not even aware who died. They're just there maybe to accompany someone, or they're just passing by and they're like, wow, this is interesting. Let me go check out. And so when you end up there, and then you're at the graveyard and the body is being lowered, it actually hits you, that's you. Yes, it just hits you that, this is me and this is the end of my life and these are the people who are around me. And I want you to imagine what they are saying about you. What are your parents saying? What are your siblings saying? What is your boss saying if they are there, or probably your clients if you're in business, maybe the directors in your company? What are they saying about you? Your friends, people from church, your neighbors, what will they say about you if you're no longer here? And I want you to just breathe in very deeply. I know this may be a bit uncomfortable for some people, especially if you've lost a loved one recently, or maybe death is not a conversation you're comfortable having. But I just want you to breathe in very deeply and breathe out. Breathe in very deeply and breathe out. Awesome. I want you to open your eyes when you're ready and just write down what you think people will say if you're no longer here. What will they say? What will people say during your funeral? What will they say about you? What will they say about your life? What will they say about who you are? How are you impacting their lives? So I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Right now we are at 7:26. I'm going to give us 2 minutes, just write down. I want you to write down what people will say about me when I'm no longer there. And then I want you to make it more interesting and exciting. And I want you to write it in past tense. She was this, she was this, she was loving, she was kind, she was whatever you think they will say about you. You can even write things that people say about you. Maybe she was stubborn, she was forceful, anything. All those are compliments, by the way, because that is how you come into life. I want you to write down everything, no matter what you think about what people say. And we're just doing the guesses. Maybe some of us have already received feedback. Some of us are guessing feedback from probably the relationships we have. Just do that. 2 minutes. I'm going to even switch off my camera and my mic to just give you time to concentrate. Yeah, some people, you can also feel free to chat here, like Joyce. Yeah, Joyce is saying she was amazing. She was a hardworking girl. Oh, Joyce, you remembered so well. Yeah, feel free to write down here, and also feel free to write on your notebook if you just want discretion and you want to process what you think about yourself. This is part of your self-perception, but it's also about probably our environment as well. So take your time, 2 minutes, and then at 7:30, actually, let me give you 3, 7:30, we continue. Awesome. Yeah, I can see some very interesting chats. Some of us who have offered to share here, and I'm just reading them. They are very amazing thoughts about ourselves. Thank you, ladies, and thank you for just allowing yourself to reflect on this. It's very important, and why? It's because in our lives we think about the end. When sometimes you want to make your life more impactful and to just have this sense of urgency, you need to go to the end and just think, if today is the final script of my life, if today, like this meeting is the last thing I'll ever do in my life, how does that change how I will do tomorrow if I have an extension? What would I want to change even about myself? And sometimes probably when I do this exercise and I feel like there's some negative impact, some negative feedback, maybe from a relationship that is not in place right now, I'm also in a position to ask myself, what can I do about it now? What can I do about it today or tomorrow to just make that place right? How can I probably reach out in a more supportive and helpful way? And of course, the other thing we also think about when you just reflect on this is also to ask yourself, all these things that I've been doing, how can I probably even do them more? How can I multiply my impact? How can I make sure that, I'm making more ripples? If I'm making one person feel good about themselves, how can I make that? How can I translate that to 10 people feeling good about themselves? Yes, that place right. Sorry, guys. No sharing the wrong screen. I want to put back the presentation on. Yeah, and by the way, for our friends who will not be able to be here today, or some of us who will want a recap, we are streaming this live on YouTube. That is my channel, Confidence with Paps. Yeah, so you'll just go and check it out on YouTube, and then you can catch up. Sometimes you usually go through a session, and then you are really here. Maybe you will not hear everything, and you'll want to repeat it again. Maybe you want to share with your friend. Yeah, and of course, some of us will not be able to join in, and we are already signed up, so I'll be happy to send this to them later. Yeah, so I'm going to go on, and the next conversation is about our genealogy versus our biology. Yeah, and we don't choose. Actually, genealogy, there's a friend of mine who was telling me something interesting. It's the logic of genes. It's just a logical space. There's nobody who chooses their genes. We didn't choose who will give birth to you. You didn't choose your grandparents. You didn't choose your siblings. That is just the logic of your genes. And I think that is a very powerful concept when you think about ourselves. And then biology is the story of my life. What you're reflecting on right now, what people will say about you. If you're no longer here, probably that is your biology so far. And the interesting thing is that no matter how bad we are, no matter how not having it together we are, there's always someone who will celebrate your life. I don't know whether you know that. Even the worst criminal, that person who is in committee on, probably on a death parole, there's someone who will cry for them. And it's because you are always making an impact, no matter how you're feeling about yourself. And I think that is something to just give you confidence in your life. Sometimes we just focus on the missing tile. Yeah, we usually call that the missing tile syndrome in psychology and coaching as well. Where you just focus on what is wrong in your life and you don't focus on what is right. Because there are so many things that are right with you. There are so many things that are going well for you. And you need to also give that attention. And so when you think about your genealogy, we can't control that. There are many things that we even don't like about ourselves. And we shall be looking at this, and we shall be doing this self-concept session, which will be coming up in another 2 weekends. And then next weekend, we shall be doing purpose clarity to just net in on our internal resources. When we shall be doing that, it's about looking at myself and telling myself, you know what, there are things I don't like about myself. What can I do with them? Maureen, allow me to mute you so that we can be coordinated. Thank you. And then genealogy is the story of my life. It means that I'm in charge. I am writing my story, and there are things in our lives that we can actually control. There's something that is within my power. There's something that is within my reach. There's something that I can fix about myself. And there are many things you may not like about yourself. And every time you need to ask yourself, is this a genealogy problem or is it a biology problem? Because if it is a genealogy problem, you can fix it. You can do something about it. You can have a turnaround in your life. If it's genealogy, you probably need to make peace with it. There's some things we'll just need to make peace and embrace them and love ourselves through them without necessarily feeling inadequate. There's this story that I really love in the Bible in 1 Chronicles 4, verse 9 to 10 about the Jabez guy. And let me just say something that really intrigues me about Chronicles. Chronicles is I used to think it's a boring book. It's just about who died and who they gave birth to. Actually, when you read Chronicles from chapter 1 to 10, I think tu ni matangazo ya vifo na kuzaliwa. It's just birth announcements and death announcements. The whole of Chronicles from chapter 1 to 10. And I'm really amazed that this guy called Jabez is actually a showstopper. In the midst of nowhere, he just shows up and makes his prayer and plea because he's not happy with his biology. He can't control his genealogy. And it starts by saying that Jabez was more honorable than his brother, but his mother called him Jabez because bore him in pain. You can't control what your mother will say about you. Probably he was cast. I don't know whether he was an illegitimate child or he was a difficult birth. Of course, by then there was no CS and CG, where you just get numbed. So back then, just even remembering the story of Rachel, childbirth was a life or death situation. And so Jabez ends up getting this name that is just reminding him and reminding everyone he is a painful story. And then Jabez decides, what, I'm not going to go down the genealogy and, I'm not going to go down the genealogy in terms of my genealogy, but just being a loser. And so he decides to make a prayer. And so in verse 9, verse 10, the Bible says, and Jabez prayed, oh God, that you'll bless me, that you'll expand my territories, that you'll remove pain from my life, that it may not harm me. He was just praying against limitations, against probably the trauma that he was going through emotionally. And the Bible says, and Jabez, and God heard his prayer. God answered his prayer. And then after that, guess what? The genealogy, the matangazo za vifo na kuzaliwa zinaendelea. Like after that, just pick up the momentum. This one gave birth to this one and this one and this one, and then this one gave birth to this one. Like it's just a story of people who probably lived an average life. And you can read more about this in my book, Reconfidence. There's actually a whole chapter about this. How can we make our legacy more intentional? So just thinking about the story of Jabez, it's about reminding myself, I cannot choose my genealogy, but I can always choose my eulogy. I can decide how my story ends when one day I come to the end of my life. And I think that is very powerful. And now we want to celebrate ourselves, and we are going to have time to just admire and to acknowledge our life medals. And I want you to write down things that you have achieved in your life so far, and they really make you proud of yourself. Like you just, you can just hold your head up and say, what, these are my achievements, I'm proud of myself. And I know some of us struggle with imposter syndrome. You don't really celebrate yourself. You don't really show up in your spaces proudly. Sometimes you even apologize for the amazing things in your life. And today is that day where we just want to celebrate ourselves. And why we do this, it's also because when you think about just this picture of a military team leader, all these medals that he's wearing, I hope you guys can see his attire. They're actually stories. Stories of defeat sometimes, stories of loneliness, story of despair. Some of them go through depression, but they still won a battle anyway. And today I want you to celebrate yourself with that mindset. I don't have it together. Everything is not come together in my life yet, but you know what? I still deserve to hold my shoulder high, like this general, and just celebrate. This is where I am. These are my stories. These are my medals from the stories I have. So probably you even ended up in a relationship that really sucked, and ended up being a single mom. But you know what? Your child is still that trophy, that medal that is, that you are hanging here proudly, And I want you to just take time to celebrate everything that you've achieved in your life so far. Whether you are a little girl, please go back and celebrate yourself as well, so that we can just live here with that positivity and that acknowledgement of my wins in life. And, I have a cousin who is a major. Yeah, we were hanging out with him 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago? It's actually last week. Yeah, and we were having this conversation because his mother is in US. So we were like, hey, nambona we went to US? And he was like, I was a commander for a certain mission. I think these missions, these are Mau Forest, Zanini, Kuresoi. And then what happened is that during that mission, there were rape cases, people were murdered. And so what happens when you're a commander of a mission? If anything happens, you take that liability. So our amazing cousin, who is really doing amazing things for this country, cannot leave this country because apparently all those charges ended up on him. So he was saying that I'm not even sure all those counts are true, but every time I think he's gone to the embassy thrice and he can't get a visa, because all these crimes you committed them. But does that prevent him from still being proud of himself as a general? Of course, the mother has to come for them to have a relationship, which is really sad. And that is the same fix we find ourselves in life. Sometimes you'll come to a place where things are not together, but are you still able to stand aside and celebrate that mission was completed? And I'm not really justifying any crimes that happened during that mission at all. but for you to just stand back in a place of self-forgiveness and self-redemption and to just say, I did my best. I did my best, and my best is enough. Are we able to do that when we come to places of failure in our lives, whether it's professional failure, business failure, relationship failures, and you just come to a place and you're like, yeah, it doesn't look good. It didn't end up how I thought, but I did my best. And I think you need to give yourself life medals in those places, even the medals of attempt, the medals of staying alive, the medal of being positive, the medal of walking away, just the medals of being able to stand up for yourself and to win some of the battles in your life. And so I want you to write down things you've achieved so far, things that make you proud of yourself, and then we will continue. So that is another 2 minutes. I can really talk. Let me just mute myself, and then I can give you a few minutes to do that. Awesome. So we'll keep going. Yeah, you celebrating yourself. And I want to celebrate Joy, who has typed hers here, Joy B. Yeah, so she's saying she's celebrating her studies to MSc. Yeah, Joy, we really celebrate you. Yeah, Masters in Science is no mean feat. And then getting married, we celebrate that milestone in your life, being employed and being a mother, being the best. We celebrate you. And of course, educating the needy, we really celebrate you. You're making an impact. And of course, your wholeness. Yeah, we celebrate you for working hard towards it and just being intentional. Yeah, so thank you, Joy, for sharing. Yeah, the rest of us, I know you've already written that down. We shall process it next time. Yeah, next week we come. And of course, one of the things also is that we'll have a personal session with each one of you as you sign up on this program. I'm happy to meet with you and just process all these things together. Yeah, and so we'll keep on looking at these things and probably how can you sometimes have something that is a trophy and at the same time it's a wound? How do you live with such a dynamic in your life? This is a trophy in my life. I'm so proud of myself, but it's like a painful kind of a trophy, and these are some of the things we shall also be processing through our journey together. Yes, we just look at the different aspects of our lives and even how to deal with emotional wounds and through a process called emotional detox. Yeah, so that is something that will be very exciting if you're like this army. There are so many soldiers who come from the war and they commit suicide. They go into depression. Some of them are committed to mental institutions because of the trauma of the battlefield. And we cannot minimize that, but sometimes we might find ourselves in a place that is very life-threatening and devastating. And yet you still keep on fighting on because you still need to keep on focusing on other medals you need to win in the future. And of course, it's some of your dreams, some of the legacy you want to build, and you just keep going. And we are going to journey on this together. And then the next thing I want us to focus on is to just allow ourselves to feel grateful about our lives. And so I want you to breathe in, breathe out, Breathe in, another deep one. Breathe in. And then breathe out. And I just want you to feel a smile in the whole of your body. And how you do that is to just allow yourself to feel emotion, not to feel the emotion of joy. There's something very powerful about our emotional states, and for you to just realize you can actually change your emotional states. It's just the way you'll be smiling, and then something just happens and you lose it and you just go into rage mode. It's the same way you're able to come back from rage. You come back to the place of happy or peace. And so I want you to allow yourself to feel grateful. Yeah, just feel grateful for your life. You can even smile, and then it will just affect that warmth in your body. Think of all the beautiful things in your life, the amazing person you are. Yeah, just allow yourself to reflect on everything that is going right for you this morning. Just appreciate even being here, hanging out with other ladies. If this is energizing for you, just allow yourself to feel grateful. Yeah, allow yourself to feel warmth. You can feel as if it's a warmth. I want you to just visualize like it's some light that is just landing on your head, and then it's going through your body. You know, that light, and it's just bringing some joy and gladness. So it's a light that is on your head, and then it's going to your shoulders, you know, like the way a halo usually looks like. And then it's going to your chest, to your stomach, to your feet, and to your hands. And you're just feeling that warmth in the whole of your body. And I want you to just allow yourself to feel grateful. Just feel grateful for your life, to feel grateful for the far you've come, the fact that you've not given up, you've held on. Yeah, just feel grateful. And then also feel grateful for what you have in your life, the people. And just remember faces that make you grateful this morning. They may be friends, they may be relatives. Yeah, just allow yourself to feel gratitude. And I want you to breathe in and just allow yourself to take in that mode of gratitude. Take it in, breathe in. And then breathe out and release all the tension, the pressure, the unhappiness, the anxiety, the concerns you have, the things that are frustrating you. So when you breathe out, you release them, and then you breathe in by taking gratitude. So let's try that again. So breathe in. And then breathe out. Yeah, breathe in again and take all the things in gratitude in your life. Breathe in. And then release all the tension. I really love these breathing patterns. They actually work magic in my life. And yesterday I was sharing with Nyanjogo, and I was just having a chat, and I was telling her, this is something you can even do in the boardroom. You can do in the market. You can do at home when you're feeling like you're losing it, maybe because of your spouse or your children. Just breathe in very deeply, breathe out, because it allows you to focus on now. You don't think about tomorrow. You don't think about yesterday. Just be in the now, and to allow yourself to feel yourself, which is a very, very, very powerful space to be in. And so I want us to move to the next thing. I hope you brought your notebooks. Yeah, because I want us to do some bit of writing and doing all these things together. So I want you to rate yourself on these 6 areas of your life. And I usually call them spices. It's one of the most amazing tools of coaching that that I use, and I feel like it's very, very effective and impactful. So when you're rating your spices, these are 6 areas of your life. I want you to write them down: spiritual, physical, intellectual, commercial, emotional, social. Just write them going down, because if you look at them, the acronym is spices. And the reason I use them, it's because I usually think, it's possible for you to live your life on average. Just do the bare minimum, just get along, do what you can, just live an average life. Like the guys I've mentioned in the genealogy, First Chronicles, they just showed up and faded out. They're probably not so impactful. And it's the same way, you can just boil your rice, chemsha maji, come and dump your rice, go and continue washing your clothes. Or sometimes you can be intentional about making pilau, and they need to grind the spices, the cardamom, the cloves, and all the other amazing things. I went to Congo, that was in 2015. I had an opportunity to speak in a women's conference. And one of the amazing things that I learned about Congolese, especially women, like they can spend the whole day just processing the things they need to cook. They will dry the fish, they will start grinding the spices, the spices, not the spouses, sorry, the spices from the scratch. Like they have all these things. And I remember during that conference, they will actually say there are women who are just dedicated to cook the whole day. So from morning maybe to afternoon, they're just cooking lunch. Like us, we usually jump into the kitchen at 12:30. Nagonga kaugali haraka, not as some of us, especially the Mashakura people, where you can even take a shortcut and your cabbage and your meat goes together, and then ugali on the side, and then 30 minutes, tara, the dinner is here. But there are people who then go all the extra miles. They will spend probably 4 hours preparing what they will cook. That is not cooking, that is just preparation. And I remember one of them who was living here, our very good friends, she would actually have just one day, the whole day to cook. I think it's a culture of West Africa, because I also had a friend from Cameroon who also used to do that. Like siku ya kupika ni siku ya kupika. She'll cook from morning to evening. And of course, that takes a lot of intentionality. It's because they want to choose their flavors. They want to choose what goes into their body. They want to just bring out the best. And I believe that is the same aspect when you think about these 6 areas, for us to just bring out the best in terms of being intentional in these places, because it's possible to just drift in life on these 6 areas. You never make ripples, you never annoy anyone. But again, there's nothing much to show at the end of our lives. And that is why we are having this conversation today, because we want to make your life count more. And so I want us to rate ourselves on these 6 areas. I'm just going to explain probably some thoughts you need to think about from these 6 areas, and then you're going to rate yourself. So if this is an area you're struggling with and probably it has a low, maybe you are feeling like I need support in this area, you give yourself a lower score. And if you're feeling like, you know what, I'm really doing well in this area, perhaps I don't even know why we are discussing it, give yourself a high score, but just make sure you are as brutally honest as you can be with yourself, because this is the tool that we shall also use for coining your personal development journey. To just know the areas that you need to work on urgently, and maybe areas you need to keep on considering. Because we shall set our goals based on this. So number 1 is your spiritual. I want you to give yourself a rating. And spiritual doesn't mean, the testimonies of Ushago of I've been born again for 50 years. And Jesus has never left me. That's important, but I want you to think about your own relationship with God. And one of the things I love saying is that all of us have highs and lows, even when it comes to our spiritual life. I remember, like myself, since 99, when I was a teenager that was struggling with depression, and I was so hopeless and struggling with such a deep despair, I was visiting a relative. And then I remember that night I was feeling horrible, terrible, all the negative emotions a teenager can ever struggle with. That was in 1999. I was in Form 3, and that was on December 27th. And I remember waking up at night. I think I wanted to go and commit suicide, and then I didn't have a good plan. Then we don't even know where to start. But I was just feeling like, this is the end of it. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night. I can't remember what time it was, but I was done. Like I was really done. And I just got off the bed and sat on the floor. I remember it was an earthen floor. They had not cemented their house, those houses in Ushago. I sat down there and I started sobbing. I cried. I didn't even know what I was crying about, but I was just feeling like, what, my life is so messed up. I'm so horrible. I was really doing poorly. I remember that time I'd actually had a D+. And my father was so mad with me. That is even how I ended up visiting my auntie so that she can talk to me, And I remember just that day sitting there and feeling like I'm such a loser. I don't think my life will ever style up. And I really got into that moment of despair and hopelessness. And I just sat there and cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. And I think I cried myself to sleep. And I remember feeling so peaceful when I woke up in the morning. It's like something had just happened to me. And I was feeling like God has really changed me and changed my story. Like I had such a strong conviction, and probably I've had all those years to journey with God. Can you believe that night? Like I was so hopeless. I just told God I want a C+. Like I think when I woke up and prayed the following day, I was like, God, if you give me a C+, I will serve you for the rest of my life. You guys can remember the prayers you used to make during KCP and KCSE. Yeah, so that was fine. Just give me a C+. I'm not even ambitious. I don't even want an A. Just a C+. I will serve you for the rest of my life. And then the following year, I think just picking myself up from that place, I was able to focus a bit and being positive, and of course, surrounded myself with positive people. I remember going back to school and I was like, by then, Iliokoka. And then they're like, who prayed for you? How did it happen? Actually, the CU people, because I used to be those blacklisted people, Wale Maspo, the people who used to be terrorists to the monos. And inwardly, I used to really be afraid of for once, but outwardly, we would go. Of course, I would follow the flow. Maybe I had an identity crisis and I just needed to belong to something amazing. And then I would go back to school, and then the CU people are like, where? Need to pray for you again. So they actually had to pray for me again to confirm that I was really born again. And of course, just having someone to keep me accountable. I remember Grace Nderito. I really thank God for her life. I don't even know where she is post high school, but she was such a phenomenal person in my life in that season. And Grace journeyed with me. She would wake me up. She would like, Paps, twende tukasome. Nilikuwa naitangwa Papi nikiwa high school, not Papi ya P-U-P-P-Y, ya P-A-P-Y. So I used to be called Papi, and she's like, Papi, amka twende tukasome, kuja twende devotion, kuja twende. Like, she became my accountability partner, and she would just pull me up. And that year, I actually ended up getting the C+. My parents were shocked. There was just that child that they were done with, and then I ended up outdoing myself. Yeah, like that was the expectation I had in my life. I was not overambitious. And since then, I've had many spiritual dives. I remember in 2013, I went through a very massive crisis because I was actually expectant. I'd just gotten married the previous year, and then we were expecting a baby the following year. And then I just had this fibroid that showed up from nowhere. It was life-threatening. I remember the doctor telling me, perhaps you'll need to choose whether you want to have the baby or you want to keep on having your life. But then I was doing my MBA, and I was, I had a very good job in an international NGO. Like, things were just looking up, and I'm this chick who is very organized. Like, I don't even plan to get a baby if there are no, kama hakuna lori ya diaper inaingia hapo kwa gate, to just make sure we have enough supplies. Like, I'm really this person who really wants to be logical about life. And then life just happened and everything started crumbling. And I remember that year I sank into a depression. I sank into a very bad depression. I would just drag myself. I remember I slept on the couch for 2 nights. My husband was just like, kuja ulale kwa bed, utakula, namwambia mimi kukula. And then of course I was very moody and very hostile. And those 2 days I just moped around. And that is when I actually figured out I need help. And so I reached out. I went and worked with this therapist who saw me for 14 sessions. Can you imagine 14? I mean, normal therapists will see you probably for 6 and then back on your feet. And I remember sometimes she'll be like, Paps, so thank you for coming today. Do you want to pray? And I'm like, no. You just talk to God and tell him whatever you want to tell him. I'm so upset with him. How can he allow this to happen to me? I have nothing to do with him. And I remember being in that space. And that year that year just turned out to be one of my lowest spiritually. And so if you asked me then, probably I'll give myself a 0, not even a 1. And so we're not just rating ourselves from our outward experience, but from where you feel you are with God. Are you confident that things are working, in that spiritual space? Are you feeling confident about God? Are you feeling like he's a reality for you? Are you feeling like, things are together in that space? And if not, there's nothing to be ashamed of. I know we've grown up sometimes in a culture that shames us for not being so passionate about God. One of the things I love that my friend said, Wanjiro Kihusa, she's the founder of Still a Mom, and she loved telling me, Paps, God can handle your tantrums. If you're unhappy and you're feeling like this space is not coming together, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Because God even knows, he can see it. He can see the resentment. He can see the indifference. He can see the struggle. And so just go ahead and rate yourself on your spiritual. I'm not going to explain all of them that way. I just thought that would really help us in rating ourselves, so that you're rating yourself on where you are today, right now, as you're in this session. Are you feeling like God is a confident space? Some of us probably are having a spiritual high. We even had a morning devotion before coming here, and you're really feeling like me and God are tight. And some of us are struggling. The spiritual space is even a space that you're not sure is working anymore. There's actually statistics that were flying around that 80% of women in Africa have gone through spiritual abuse. You had people who misrepresented God in your life, maybe your parents, maybe it was the spiritual leaders, our pastors, and all the other guys. And it's okay to admit that, this space is not okay for me. I need to figure it out. Yeah, and so I want you to give yourself a score based on that. Yeah, so how would you rate yourself spiritually? Please go ahead and give yourself a score. And then coming to the physical, yeah, I want to give yourself you to give yourself a score as well. How is your relationship with God? No, how is your physical well-being? So that was the spiritual, your relationship with God. And then physical, how are you feeling about yourself? Are you happy with the way you look? Are you confident? Do you feel confident about your appearance in terms of your body image? Are you happy with your life? Do you have any life-threatening illnesses? Probably some of us have chronic illnesses that will probably make you feel like I'm not so confident with my physical well-being. Yeah, some of us probably need to lose weight. Some of us need to work on something. Like you just have this space that you need to manage. And so that also lowers your score in terms of your physical. So on the physical, I want you to rate yourself also on how you're eating. Are you eating well? Do you feel like you're eating healthy? Are you also sleeping enough? Do you feel like you're managing stress well? Some of us, probably including myself, when we are battling stress and we're not figuring it out, we get to do a lot of comfort eating. You just want to eat the sweet things. Unajipigia tu pole na chakula. Yeah, so probably physical will be a space that is not defined. And of course, some of us, maybe you're physically fit, you're proud of yourself, you don't have any illness or anything you're struggling with. So that is also something to rate yourself. Yeah, so just rate yourself on physical from a scale of 1 to 10. How are you feeling about yourself this morning? Good. And then we go to the third one, intellectual. And intellectual has to do with your mental prowess, your intelligence, your creativity, your imagination. Are you happy even with where you are academically in terms of your achievement? Are you happy with the level you are professionally? Like in terms of what you're doing with your life? Intellectual, just that place where I'm proud of myself in terms of my prowess, in terms of my intellect, where my intellect is concerned. Are you feeling skillful and gifted? Are you using everything you have in terms of your skillfulness? Is there a skill you need to learn that probably will give you a lower score because you're feeling inadequate in some spaces in your intellectual? So I want you to just rate yourself overall. How are you feeling about that space? Are you at your best academically? Are you at your best in terms of creativity? Are you at your best in terms of professional growth? Is everything looking up for you? Give yourself a score. 1 is the lowest, 10 is the highest. And then we go to the third one. Yeah, the third one has to do with the commercial. The commercial has to do with money. And one of the things I love talking about the commercial scores for us, it's not just about how much you have in the bank. It actually has to do with your money attitudes. When you think about yourself, would you say you struggle with scarcity mentality or abundance? Yeah, because it's not just about how much you have, it's about how you feel about it. Yeah, and we have an event that will be coming up. Is it on 26th? Yeah, but it's this month, the month of May. Yeah, we shall be discussing deep wealth. Yeah, we shall be having a retreat, an online retreat, just discussing our deep wealth in terms of how wealthy do I feel, and probably how can I assess wealth in my life, so that I'm not just measuring my success in life with money alone, because there are so many other things you need to consider. And so when it comes to commercial, there are also people who have a wrong mindset about money, like in terms of what money can give you. For example, do you believe money gives you variety? Do you believe money gives you certainty in terms of stability? Does money give you probably significance? Does money give you love and connection? Does love give you growth? Does love give you contribution? So we start looking at these things and we ask ourselves, when you think about money, what comes to mind? Do you feel like money serves you or do you serve it? Do you feel more secure when you have more? Or do you feel insecure when you have more? Some of us feel so much fear, even when the end month is coming, because we feel this is a place where I'm not in control in my life. And whenever we make money, it probably leaves as much as it was made. I remember a guy that I saw, that was about 4 years ago. He was earning a lot of money, like almost an M every month. And you will say that, by the ikifika tarehe 10 hivi nakuanga broke, mpaka nakuanga nikikopa pesa. So it's not just about how much we earn, it's about our mindset where money is concerned. And so this is a journey we shall take together, and I'm sure it will be very exciting for most of us. And then E is emotional. So I want you to rate yourself in terms of your money belief, not how much you're earning, but in terms of how does money make you feel. If it brings negative emotions, probably when I have money, I feel anxious. When I have money, I feel insecure. When I have money, I just want to get rid of it as much as I can. And also, do I have scarcity mentality? If today you didn't have money, would you be secure? if you didn't have all the money you need, and probably this is a space that will not be coming together for you, will you still be happy with yourself? So that is how I want you to rate yourself in terms of your money habit. Great. And then we go to C. Now we go to E now. So I want you to rate yourself on emotional, like in terms of your emotional. Do you feel emotionally together? Like in terms of struggling with emotions, do you have negative emotions more times in your life, or do you have positive emotions more in your life? Yeah, we usually say there are no bad or good emotions. Yeah, because all emotions are neutral. They just come to communicate something. And in this program, we also have a whole session dedicated to emotional intelligence, where we just think about how can I be in charge of my emotions more? How can I take charge of my soul? Yeah, so we shall be exploring that later. So I want you to rate yourself emotionally in terms of how you're feeling. How have you been feeling this past month? How have you been feeling this year? How have you been feeling last year? What emotions are present in your life? So I want you to rate yourself from that angle in terms of my emotional well-being, or probably my emotional space. And one of the things I usually say is that you also rate yourself. I know some of us are Christians, based on the fruit of the Holy Spirit. Which one do you struggle with more? Which one comes in more easily? And it has to do with your personality as well. Some of us, when you think about our emotional well-being, like it's just a place where we plug and play, And then some of us, it's a place that we really, really, really struggle. Some of the emotions that I mentioned there, like personally, I struggle with peace. Yeah, I will say I used to struggle with peace. Right now, I'm in a very, very good place, but it has really, really taken a journey for me. And partly it's because of our personality. Yeah, because I'm a high achiever. I want things done yesterday. I want things to go in a certain way. And of course, you can't control life. So sometimes I will really end up in this anxious space. I will end up feeling so frustrated. And so when it comes to emotions, which one do you struggle with? I know, like probably when you think about the temperaments, the personality that is called melancholic struggles with joy. You're not just a happy place every time. Sometimes you can, even without having a conversation with anyone, you can just start thinking negative things, and then you just find yourself having an emotional dive. You just feel sad all of a sudden. You feel horrible all of a sudden. And of course, also the sanguines can really have an emotional low. When a low comes, it really hits low. When a high comes, it really hits high for them. I also have that extrovert. And of course, you should do personality tests to just know where we are, so that you can understand yourself, appreciate yourself, be kind to yourself, and nurture yourself to where you want to be. Yeah, I know some of us, I've seen some indications some of us needed to leave, and it's fine. Yeah, these sessions, probably as I will indicate later, would be running from 7 to 9, 2 hours of coaching. And it's because some of the times we should also be having you share, having you talk, having you give feedback, have you participate. Yeah, so it's really, really, really an intense session. And so if it was just a talk, I would even take 30 minutes. Yeah, but like I'd say, this is a coaching event, and probably this was not within your time budget. It's totally fine. I totally understand. I probably will still share a feedback with you. But if you're able to hang around, this is actually almost the last thing that I'm sharing. And then I'll give you a feedback I'll just give you some info on the program that is coming up, and then you see whether it's something you're willing to take. And then I'll share all this information on email as we go along. Good. So I was on the emotional, and I hope all of us have given ourselves a score on your emotional well-being and how you're feeling about your emotional space, for the past many days. And one of the things that I love saying is that all of us are allowed to have seasons of winter in our lives. You're allowed to have a winter, to just have those days when things are just white and sad and cold. Everybody is allowed to have 25% of winter in their lives. If it's 25%, then it means that is around 6 hours in your day. Like, you can just have that low, and then you pick yourself up. If it's a year, probably it's quarter of a year. Like, you're allowed to also give yourself grace to not always be running away from emotions, but also appreciate that season and ask yourself, what is this teaching me? What am I getting from it? During winter, the trees are usually ugly. I had an opportunity to live in Europe in 2011. And during winter, like, all the amazing flowery trees that I used to see were stripped. They were looking bare. They were looking ugly. they were looking naked, but they've not lost their potential. And I think that is the security and confidence of going through the low seasons of our lives, to just remember and to remind myself, I'm still that beautiful tree when summer comes. You know, I'm still that beautiful tree that will bloom again, have flowers, probably have fruits, you know, and then I'll still come back to this season again, so that we stop running away from the winters of our lives, but we learn to handle them with grace, and to just be patient with ourselves, and to also remind ourselves that this is temporary, it will pass. You know, that is such a comforting place to live in. And so as we think about our emotional highs or lows, it's just understanding that my emotional highs will not come from having a perfect life. It will come from just having a perfect mindset. Like I talked about the having the compass in place. You know, when you have that compass, wherever you will ever get lost, you will find yourself sooner, which is a very beautiful thing. And then finally is social. So you rate yourself socially. Yeah, and this has nothing to do with all the followers you have on your socials, and you know, all the amazing, you know, people that are following you online and commenting on your posts. This actually has to do with the quality of your relationships. Do you feel like you have true friendships in your life? You know, do you feel like you have difficult relationships that keep on lowering this score, because those are places you avoid? I remember we were having this conversation during the retreat with some ladies, just discussing how our father wounds. We shall be having a retreat coming up for that, father wounds, where we're healing the wounds of how we were fathered, because that is very important for every little girl to process. You know, the little girl that lives in us. And so we were having this conversation, and one of the things that I think I just got as insight as we were talking along is that when you think about the people that are difficult in your life, especially if they are relatives, and yeah, I know this is something that many of us are interested to be in, and we shall have a retreat around this as well. Yeah, just in terms of dealing with difficult people, learning to stand up for myself, we shall have this retreat come up on next month. But then one of the insights that I was sharing with those ladies, amazing ladies, is that everything that I'm trying to avoid in my life, I'll keep on finding it elsewhere. So probably if it's my dad, who I keep on avoiding because he's unreasonable, he argues with me, sometimes I end up finding my dad in my boss. You know, so I'll always keep on running in life. Probably if it's my sibling that is unreasonable, I've blocked them, I don't talk to them. And then in the office, I have other siblings to deal with, you know, just difficult people that I need to deal with. And sometimes it's a reflection of what I've not processed in terms of my other relationships. And so when it comes to social, we rate ourselves also based on difficult relationships that I need to probably address in my life, I need to become aware of, and I need to resolve with time. So I want to rate yourself based on the quality of your relationships. And there's a whole chapter in my book on just having these amazing relationships, and you know how we can have those divine relationships in our lives that really are life-giving instead of death-leading. Good. So are we done? Yeah, so I hope everyone has rated themselves. If you don't mind, you can share your scores. If you mind, no pressure. But these are some of the things, like I said, we shall be handling during our personal session, our one-on-ones. So I want you to draw this on your book. It's called The Wheel of Life. And we want to plot those 6 things about your life. Yeah, so just draw this. Let me see whether I can sketch something as well so that I can use it to explain. Just making a disclaimer, I really suck at drawing, so yeah, don't judge my drawing. I'll be like those people who usually say, usisikilize sauti, usikilize maneno when they are singing. Just listen to the words, not the voice. Oh no, that really sucks. I know. Okay, I think I'm going to be clever and just draw it from here. Okay. Okay, so after you've partitioned your circle, please leave us your email if you need to leave. Yeah, thank you, Jen.
Hi, Coach.
Hey, hi, Jackie.
What was the previous slide? It was my life, what?
Oh, my wheel of life. Wheel of life.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
gurudumu. Yeah, wheel. Well, I'm not winning on drawing, so let me just explain. So what I'm going to explain is that, first of all, so you've drawn and you've partitioned this place. So I want you to use on every circle, label it. So you start with S in terms of this is my spiritual, and then this is my physical, and then this is my intellectual, and then this space is my commercial, and then this space is my emotional, and then this place is my social. Yeah, so just do those ratings for yourself. Yeah, to just circle out the different spaces in your life. And then I want you to give yourself to plot those scores here. So for example, I'm not sure whether you guys can see. Let me just say, the spotlight is here. Let me use this to just explain. So when you come here, I want you so this is your spiritual, for instance. So come and give yourself a score here. Maybe you scored 4, and then you come and plot 4 here. So 4 is like somewhere here. You put a star here or a big dot, and then come to physical. Maybe you're like, not so bad. I lost 5 kilos last month, so I have a 7. So come and give yourself a 7 there. And then you come here, intellectual, you're like, wow, I've been putting off this degree. I don't even like the career I am in. I need to transition. I think I have a 2. So come and put your 2 here. And then you come to the other one, which is commercial. You're like, wow, money really freaks me out. Yeah, probably that is why I don't make enough of it. Maybe I have a wrong mindset about money. And give yourself a score here. And then emotional. Yeah, you come here, you're like, wow, right now I'm an emotional wreck since last month. And especially COVID has not made it any better. So I have a 3. Come and give yourself the 3. And then you're like, social, wow. Right now I have amazing friends, I don't have any fights in my life. Everybody is awesome to me. So I have an 8. Put your 8 there. And then I want you to join the dots. Yeah, so you join your dots. So maybe if you join your dots, it will be something like this, depending on the scores you got. And then maybe this one went up a bit. Yeah, that sounds like it. So this is just a guesswork, but I want you to join your dots and see what kind of a shape you will get. And then I want you to think, if this was the wheel of my life, what will be the speed? So if this is the wheel that is going into my car, what will be my speed in life? If I'm going to Mombasa, how many days, months, or even years will I take? So some of us will get something that looks like a web. Some of us will get butterflies. So what does yours look like? Yeah, maybe you can use an emoji, or you can just share on the chat what your wheel looks like. But when you just imagine that this will be the speed of my life, it means that there are areas in my life that are really slowing me down. And the amazing thing about a wheel of life is that one area that is down can pull down the other areas as well. So I may be struggling emotionally. Will it affect me physically? Yes. Will it affect me spiritually? Yes. Will it affect me socially? Yes. Because when you're an unpleasant person to be around, then nobody wants to hang around. Maybe I become a very negative person and people are like, wow, nowadays I don't know what happened to her. Let's give her some time. Radia is saying that she loves hers. It looks like a starfish. Yeah, thanks for sharing. And when you think about your wheel of life, it's important for you to just realize that, what? It's not just about me. I need to knock out of myself when I'm assessing my progress in life, because there are so many other people that are depending on me. Number one, there's the next generation, which includes my children. Even for us who are already parents, your wheel of life is affecting the quality of your children. Your wheel of life is affecting your impact in life. It's affecting your speed and acceleration in achieving your dreams. And it's very important for everyone to just be able to come to this place and just say, what, I need to do something about it. You can choose the pain of just staying where you are. not doing anything about it and just keep on moping and feeling sorry for yourself, or you can choose to do something about it. This program is going to help you do something about these areas. And one of the things that I usually guarantee is that by the time you're done with this program, regardless of your scores and where you are at in these different areas, we guarantee a 70% improvement on your life in the next 2 months. Like these are areas that we can be able to work on, through this program, which has been designed carefully with a lot of feedback. 178 women have gone through this program. We don't take a class of more than 10, because we want to just journey with small groups of women. And we only do this program 4 times a year. And so when you look at it, this is a program that has been tried and tested, and it's supposed to help you pick up on some places in your life. And when you think about the wheel of life, it's because we don't have forever. And this wheel is supposed to deliver me to my destination. And so if I have many places that are pulling me back and pulling me down, then it means that with time, I am not able to optimize on probably my assignment in life. And it's possible for us to come to the end of our lives and with nothing much to show for it. Just like the people I was mentioning in First Chronicles, they just showed up, I was here. And then what did you do? Basically nothing much, apart from even getting babies. Like what more? What more does my life have? And so the wheel of life is supposed to end up in this space where you're thinking about your scores, and then you're thinking about your wheel of life in terms of a score of 1 to 10, and then you have these different slices. And like I've said, these are independent areas in your life, but they move each other like cogs. It's like a cog. This one has to move for this one to move. This one has to move for this one to move. And it's important for you to work on them to optimize them. And guess what? There's nobody who is usually perfect on any of these areas. There are different colors and just moving together, but you need to keep on consistently working on these areas. And sometimes you can have a high right now, maybe you scored yourself even a 10 on something, and then later, maybe in a few years or a few months or even a few days, it just comes to a tilt. So it's just important to be aware that I need to keep this wheel going by working on the lows on my life. And so I want you to just note, what are the bottom 3 areas in your life that you need to work on? What did you get the lowest score? Because it means those are the places that are on ICU in your life. Those are the places you need to take urgent action to fix, massive actions, because probably those are the areas that are slowing down your progress, slowing down your impact, slowing down your positivity in life. And those are places that need your attention. So just note, what are my bottom 3? Is it physical, spiritual, intellectual, commercial, emotional, social? Sometimes you can get a tie, it's still fine. It shows that those areas are in a place of continuum and you need to work on them together. So just note your bottom 3. Thank you, Linda. She's saying this wheel of life is quite eye-opening. Thanks for sharing. My great pleasure. Janet, yours looks like a pentagon. But then we will share this. We will share this on your email addresses. That is why we are glad for you to leave your email here if you hadn't. Some of us, we already have your email address. If you received this link and a brief yesterday, either in the morning or in the evening, then it shows I have your email address. If not, please get us your email address so that we can share even this presentation once it's uploaded and complete. Good. So everyone has noted the 3 areas that are in ICU in your life and areas that you need to work on urgently. And I also want you to appreciate yourself for what's working, because it took a lot of effort. Some of us have really done a lot of self-work, whether it's through your faith, whether it's through friends, whether it's through reading books. Like some of us have really worked hard to grow in the areas that are probably up to date. And I really, really take this time to celebrate you. And then those areas that are not working, imagine it's not the end of it. You're not hopeless. This is a journey that you can take and really end up in a good place. And so just encourage yourself and just know that, I'm in a space that is enabling for me. So these are the assessment tests that you should expect on your email. I hope you've shared your email address. Sorry, that circle will just stay there. Don't let it distract you. And so we are going to send you a brief, like a Word document that has personality tests. It actually has a 360 shape assessment for you to assess how you're shaped for your purpose, because this is a big conversation we shall have next week. We shall just be taking you through discovering your shape and looking at how you can optimize it. How can you use your shape more effectively? How can you show up in life more intentionally using the internal resources you have? So the brief will have number 1, your spiritual gift assessment. Yeah, and these spiritual gifts, you usually call them motivational gifts because everyone in the world has them, regardless of their faith, their belief. Everybody has these giftings. And so we just want to know, what are your top 4? How can you show up more intentionally in life through them? Like personally, my top 4, I use them in everything I do. Whatever I'm even being offered in opportunities does not align with who I am and probably how I'm wired, I don't take it up. Because I've also learned to narrow down my impact. I can't do everything. I can't be everywhere. I can't impress everyone. And so I've learned to pick my struggles and to just choose what I really want to do. So even if I'm doing a business, I'll do it within the area of my giftings. And that is why I went into coaching, because my primary gift is exhortation, encouraging people, inspiring them, challenging them. And then number 2, and besides this coaching engagement, I also have a job, a consultancy job that I work in a church, and I do HR, I do social justice because I want to empower people who are down there, HR because I want to see everyone bringing their A game on the table in our office. Yeah, and the other thing that I also do is communication, because I think I just love talking and expressing myself, and I also want to express myself creatively, even express the things that are happening in our church community effectively. So those 3 things, and of course also organizing international trips. I don't know whether it's because I love traveling, yeah, but that's one of my assignments. Like, I just love moving things and making them happen. And so when you think about it, every opportunity you learn to take in your life, whether it's a business, whether it's anything, it should align to who you are. Just learn to know your settings. Like I said, know your compass, have your compass, and then learn to make decisions from the compass level. And then number 2, you shall have your heart's desire, like in terms of writing your goals. These spices that we've done, this one, I want you to set 3 goals on every area in terms of how you want to grow. Even if you're doing well right now, you don't know about tomorrow. Just set goals. What can you do better, or maybe what can you do differently in these areas in your life, or probably even what can you keep on doing if you're doing well? What has brought you into that place? So you need to come to that place and just set 3 goals: spiritual goals, set physical goals, set an intellectual goal, set commercial goals in terms of my money beliefs, what do I need to do, set emotional goals, and of course social goals. So that will be the next assignment. Of course, this brief will give you some guidance on this and areas to think about, and questions that you need to answer. And then number 3 is the third thing that will be on that list is your personality test. I want you to do 2. There's 16 personality, and then there's 41 Q. 16 personalities will help us determine if you're an introvert, how introverted are you? Yeah, because some of us are usually in between and people think you're weird. And some of us are totally up here. Can you imagine when I did this test? I'm 93% extroverted, so I get energized around people. And so I don't feel bad for having that need and that desire to just connect with people and to have meaningful relationships. And then probably some of us are introverted. You just prefer your space and to do your thing. When you do this test, you'll stop feeling weird and just start doing you. And of course, you'll also get to read about this more in my book to just understand, is your personality functional or dysfunctional, so that you just understand where you are. And then number 4, you will get to do an abilities list, just 50 things you do well. Go and ask people, what do you think I do well? Especially the people who are close to you will tell you amazing things about yourself. And then journal just about the story of your life. What are the highlights and the milestones? And when we shall go for our retreat, these are some of the things we address. Yeah, like the journal will get to draw the river of our life and just look at the milestones and discuss them and see how they affect the person you are. And then besides that, you will also get all the other information that is included. The email has all the links to all the things that are coming up for you to sign up. So this is what will be coming to your end. And then, so the next step, if this is a journey you're willing to take, where are we headed? Yeah, this is the Woman Arise roadmap. Yeah, for the next 8 weeks. We shall have a confidence in purpose coming up next weekend, and then confidence in healing your past wounds will be coming up the following weekend. Confidence in adjusting expectations in marriage. And this session, by the way, is also open for single ladies in our program, because we want you to come in and just to get a feel of what is happening on this other side. And I'm very happy to share my stories and to share some of the things that I've learned over time, because these are masterclass. You also get to share yours and you inspire us. Masterclass is a place of exchange of experience and knowledge and just tools that we can share together. And then confidence in defining myself. Yeah, that is where we shall be handling the self-concept. Confidence in dating relationships. We shall also be handling this. And it's important for the married woman to also attend, just see what was my thought process in making this decision, and probably what are some of the things I can even do in self-redemption in terms of just change of mindsets and intentionality. Very important. And then confidence in my generational foundations. We just want you to understand where you come from affects who you are, and probably how can you make this a positive space. And then the next thing will be confidence in taking charge of my soul. This is where we do the emotional intelligence in a very, very practical way. And then finally, we have a getaway retreat. Yeah, that getaway retreat usually happens here in Nairobi, or sometimes we go to Voi, but this time because of COVID, it will probably be Nairobi. I hope by then, the COVID will have eased and things will have opened up. If not, promise you, this is still something that we will definitely make sure it happens to you. So we go away for 2 days from a Friday morning, early morning, and then we come back on Saturday evening or afternoon. So these are 2 days that you need to block ahead. And of course, we are going to send you this, including the schedule of the dates, that you can be able to plug into this class. And because of the level of signups we have right now, we are having 2 classes. There will be Saturday, and the Saturday class will be starting from 7 to 9. And then if Saturday is not your cup of tea, that is actually the next information, the timings. Yeah, Saturday self-care, where you wake up to just work on yourself, to spend time in something that directly adds value to your life. So it's in the morning from 7 to 9. And then if you're a Monday person, probably Monday used to be one of the most horrible days of my life when I was employed, like in the past. Yeah, so normal Mondays is actually choosing to have your Mondays in a positive mode. That is why I'm calling this normal Mondays for the people who want to do this class on Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. Yeah, so you have those 2 options as you sign up for this program. And of course, the retreat will be on these dates. Please block them. If you need to take a leave, yeah, just whatever you need to do, make sure that you're available on these 2 days. I know some of us may be signing up from this program and we are out of the country. I think there are around 3 people who have already signed up and committed, and they're not living around. Then we'll still find a way of doing it virtually. So when you're signing up, you'll also have that option on whether you want to be in the virtual one, especially if you're probably even not feeling safe to meet with COVID. Yeah, please take up this program. And then there's many creative ways we find of doing everything online concerning our program. Yeah, so make sure you do this, and then you just note down which class you want. Make sure you choose today, because we only, like I said, we only have 10 to 15 slots per class. Our classes are usually not big. We don't do mass production. We just want a few ladies who are very serious and they want massive change in their lives to join in on this journey. And so what is the investment for this program? It is 30,000. And this is the value we are offering you. Actually, many people usually say this program is so cheap. Yeah, because people know coaching is very expensive. But one of the things we've tried to do in Woman Arise is to make this program affordable as we can, just have it on the minimum cost. And this involves the 7 deep coaching group sessions. If I was going to coach a group, like a program that I'm doing for a certain church, we charge 5,000 per session per person. And then 2 sessions for personal coaching, the value will be 12,000. So if you want to see me and you just want to have a session, it will be 6,000 for 1 coaching session. And then getaway retreat, the value is 10,000 because you stay in this amazing hotel, and we have a program that is engaging you throughout, for the 2 days. So the net value of this program, you're going to charge it on every cent. It will be 57,000. That is net, meaning that if we are adding in all the other extra costs, it will actually be more. But we are offering it on this level of 30,000 because we really want every woman that is here this morning to be able to access it, and even those who have already signed up and maybe they're not here this morning. And then the next thing is, what have women said about this program? Yeah, these are amazing ladies that gave a testimonial after going through this program. Anne is actually one of our amazing facilitators from Voi. The day she took this program, her review was, with a realistic approach to coaching, she inspires women to look at themselves from God's eyes. What does God say about me? Regardless of what life, traditions, people, and circumstances say about me. And that is what we're calling unapologetic living. And then the next thing is a very realistic program by Vivian Melelo, that focuses on holistic wholeness and builds purpose, clarity, and instills unapologetic confidence. We do discussions on real stories, dealing with generational issues, and how to deal with our past struggles. Everyone needs it. Yeah, that was Vivian. And then finally, there was Joyce. And Joyce said, I see a future me in you, fearless, bold, confident, and apologetically comfortable in the space God has made. And an amazing thing about Joyce, when Joyce came for this class, like the first class, Nile invite you, and I'm told you don't want to disappoint them. So she just showed up. She was like, I didn't want to disappoint her. She's been inviting me for many things and I keep on turning her down. So I was just like, okay, let me go and check what this is all about. So she just came, and she was coming with that indifference. And then Joyce ended up paying the whole amount the following week. She was like, this is what I've been looking for in life. And so I'm praying that that will also be an experience for some of us by being here today. So where do you start? We have very special offers for us. And number one is the massive action, where we have only 15 slots available. And you're going to send 5% before Monday if you want to commit yourself and to sign up for this class. So when you'll be signing up the form, maybe you can indicate that, that you've paid 1,500, and then you will clear the rest before Monday, 5 p.m. Make sure that you commit to this. Just take this opportunity, and start working on your life. There'll never be a good time. I remember when I did one coaching program, it was 40,000 for 2 weeks. And I remember I was like, wow, I don't know where this money will come from, but I called and I was like, you know what? I will show up. I will come for that class. And I only had 5K, I remember. So I went and took that, and I was like, yeah, I'll pay the rest, don't worry. I didn't even have to call my friends, and I was like, hey, Sally, kuna hii program, and I have to do it now. So can you support me? And I'm telling you, that is one of the best investments I ever made in my life. I'm so glad that I took the risk, just looking back. And so just take this massive action and send your 1,500. That will be 5% of the program cost. And then you can book yourself an opportunity, because like I said, we are only taking in 15 people per class. And then depending on which class you want, also booking in early enables you to be in that class, or you can be in either if you don't mind. We are happy to accommodate you. And then we are also offering 15% off. So if you are here and you're feeling like, you know what, I need a discount, then you can pay a one-off of 25,500 by Friday 7th. So by Friday next week, you just make your payment, and then you pay this and you're settled, and then now you wait for the class. That will be 25,500. So that is 15% off. You save a whole 4,500. And then the other thing that you will start with is go through the brief that we'll send on your email in an hour after this program, and then also do the assessments, and then of course fill the contract form. All these things are online, very easy for you to do. The only thing that is a bit, it's not technical, the gift assessment, because it's a Word document, but you can fill it in online. You can do the totals online. Like everything is a bit easy and straightforward. And of course, if you're stuck on anything, Jen is here to support us. And I'm also happy to help on the email. And then a financial plan, you'll also pick a financial plan that works for you. There are 3 options. So this is 15% one-off, and then the others you can also pay in installment if you just want to be on the slow process of the 30,000, and then you pay it at your convenience. So I've given options, and then you can also feel free to share your option so that you can see whether it's workable for the program. So this is where you start. And then this is also somewhere you can start. Probably you're feeling like, you know what, I would want to probably gather my head and plan for this a bit more. The challenge is that we don't know when next time we shall have this program on this offer or anything. So I really encourage you to also get this book so that you can start your journey in terms of self-coaching. This book is available on my website. So you just go to www.reconfidencewithpaps.com, and then you can buy the book. So you'll just see the Reconfidence book is one of the tabs. Grab your copy and just start digging in, because the Woman Arise story is part of this book. Like this is the experience of the journey and probably some of my personal stories. And even if you're joining this program, please grab this book as well, because it will be part of your growth and personal development. And then what will be coming next? Beyond this program, we have these amazing events that are coming up. Number one is Women in Business Forum. I'm the chairperson of the Women in Business in Kiambu County. And we shall have this conference coming up, and we shall be looking at technology, how you can use technology to enhance your business. So it will be 6 p.m. and it will be running on these 3 days from Monday to Friday. So you're invited to also sign up on this. The form will also come on your email. You just sign up and show up. And then the Deep Wealth Virtual Retreat will be happening on this date. And then Get Your Bold Back will be happening a month later on this date. So I've already given a write-up to just explain what the retreat is all about so that you can be able to sign up. So these 2 retreats, the Deep Wealth and the Get Your Bold Back, we are offering to the women who came this morning at 1,000 bob, to just show up for the retreat, because our regular cost for virtual retreats normally 2K. So you can pay 1K by 10th May and just reserve. Go ahead and fill in the form. Maybe on the M-Pesa code, you can indicate by when you will pay so that you can just reserve your slot, because you also have a packs of 2020 for this event. And that's it. So nice meeting you. Yeah, my name is Paps Wanyugi. In case you came in along the way, or maybe you want to know more, and I'm a certified life coach, I'm a psychologist, and I'm also a human potential expert. And my mission in life is to just inspire people to create the life they desire and deserve. I'm also your go-to coach if you are on the quest for purpose clarity, you are looking for emotional restoration, or you're just looking for a confidence boost. And I run a variety of coaching outfits which nurture intentionality and confidence in women. I also work with preteens and teens and parents, teachers, mentors. Yeah, I've been doing this for the past 15 years. And then I'm socials. You can just check me out and then we can follow each other back. And then you can also check my YouTube channel. That is Reconfidence with Paps. Yeah, that is where this video will be, but I'm going to share the link with you. And then also you can join my Facebook community, Still Reconfidence with Paps on Facebook. So there's my page and then there's my community, where we shall also be having inspiring content and conversations. And I am so glad we are connected. And something else about me, this is my family. Yeah, so I'm married to James Wanyugi, and those are our two children. And these are all smiles, but we are not a perfect family. And that is one of the things that we keep on unpacking and just sharing my stories, my struggles, my failures. Like last year, the whole of November, I was just sharing my setbacks in marriage, like all the drama, that I've gone through, that I've probably taken James through, he's taken me through, to just have an authentic space. And you will realize that Woman Arise is that space for you as well. We just have authentic conversations. We look good and all together on the cameras. And then behind it, it's about how God is holding it together. And so these are some of the conversations we shall be having as well. And so that's it. Thank you for coming. Yeah, if you have any feedback, if you have any questions, I'm happy to respond to them. And before you leave, like I said, we really love singing in Woman Arise. And I'll just want to have a song that we can sing together. It will have the lyrics on the screen. And then I'll pray at the end for those of us who are able to wait up a bit. If you need to run, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate all the ladies that were here. I think we were around 60 people who came in and probably left along the way. Yeah, thank you guys for the feedback. This is so encouraging. This was an awesome session, very informative. I really, really appreciate your feedback. Please keep it coming. And I want you to share what is your take home today. What have you learned? What will change for you? Just let me know on the chat. And Jen is also encouraging us, in case you just came in and we don't have your email address, if you've not received an email from us, please make sure you send it out. Yeah, so that will be all for today. I want us to worship together and then we will get some time to